we're stuck, we're wandering. It is such a strong scriptural image. The Hebrew people wandered for 40 years after they left Egypt, before they got to the Promised Land. Do you think it's because they were lost? They didn't know where they were going? Maybe it was a test. Who knows what that was? Maybe they had, well, they did. They had men leading the way who wouldn't ask for directions. What are you going to do? But the point of that is that we have desert experiences. We have those moments. You probably can recall them in your own life. Those times when it just doesn't feel right. I'm in a desert here. You know, the deserts we don't choose. But just like the Hebrew people, the desert was an opportunity for purification. It was an opportunity for them to really look deeply inside. It was a way of letting go of the temptation of going back to Egypt, of false idols. They needed time to confront those demons in order to move forward into the Promised Land. I think that's the key. And the desert is St. Paul on the way to Damascus to arrest the Christians. You heard this morning, it's Jesus in the garden experiencing the agony. The desert provides these moments, these are challenges of integrity. These are identity crises that occur in our lives. It's all part of that. But here's the cool thing. We don't travel alone. This is one of the best parts of Christianity. I'll come back to this, why I like being Catholic so much. We don't travel alone. We have people on the hill. We have what we call the communion of saints. I think sometimes it's one of our best kept secrets. We are connected to all those who've gone before us. We are part of that. All right, this is really kind of sad, but let me show you this. I couldn't believe it. I did this this morning at prayer. These are holy cards of the funerals that I've been to in the last couple of years, which means I never changed my jacket. That's one thing. But in this pile of holy cards, this is my communion of saints. My mom's in here. My dad's in here. 2 or 3 of my closest friends are in here. My wife's mom is in here. I mean, think about this. I mean, this is a great Catholic tradition, this whole idea of holy cards. It's my communion of saints. And so this morning, sitting in prayer, I pulled it out. And I went through each one to remind myself. Now, the church we have our big communion of saints. You know, we have the great saints who've been before us. But each of us has our individual communion of saints, these companions who walk with us. And I want you to think about that because you are a companion to somebody else on that journey. I think that's a critical piece of what it means to be a Catholic Christian today, is the willingness to be a companion of others on their journey. This is us. We are in the business of miracles. We are. We forget this sometimes. We live in the miraculous. I mean, it's phenomenal. Sometimes it's as basic as our kids getting up on their own. You must be thinking, it's a miracle. I can't believe that. They actually got dressed on their own. You know, it's like, wow, how'd that happen? And then the big miracle. I mean, we live amidst the miracles for those with eyes to see. For those with the eyes of the soul, we are surrounded by the miraculous. We live in a world full of wonder. And I know sometimes it's hard to see that. Amidst COVID, it was hard to see that. But even amidst COVID, did you see these bursts of miracles coming through on how people figured out how to adapt to it? My neighborhood was so darn funny. We had Friday afternoon happy hours, and we called them our driveway happy hours, where we all sat at the end of our driveways and we could look down the street and see each other and toast each other. People are hungry for community, hungry for a way to connect, and we get very creative when the pressure's on. I'm going to propose that as Catholic Christians, we live in this world. We live in a world of miracles, and we see the world differently. Because we live with a sacramental imagination, we see the entire world differently. The way we see, feel, touch, experience the world is all shaped by our sense that all of it reflects God. All of it points to the transcendent. We live in a world of miracles. And then the last one and you can probably see this one coming. Our journey is characterized by genuine love. Go back to Scott Peck. Here's what he said. Genuine love, with all the discipline it requires, is the only path in this life to substantial joy. Genuine love is the only path in this life to substantial joy. And I think it was Ignatius who said, and joy is the infallible sign of the presence of God. Look at the connection. Genuine love as part of what we're called to be, what we're called to do. It's about being messengers of hope. So, here's what I'm going to invite you to do. You have this in your prayer journal, but I put them up here as well. I'm going to invite you to take a moment and think about, what's this mean for you? What does this whole idea about being a messenger of hope, what's it like for you? What has been the suffering pain, 2 steps back, for you over these last 2 years? How's your journey been? So here's what I invite you to do. In small groups, I'd just like you to go around at your table. And we have 30 minutes for you to talk with you. Now here's an idea. Before we start sharing, if you're at a table and you don't know, introduce yourself. I mean, there's a concept in church. But 3 questions, okay? Something to think about. What's the chaos that you experienced when you think over these last 2 years? What's it been like, the chaos for you? The second part, how has that been a challenge? What's been the difficult challenge for you? For me, not seeing my grandkids. They're already an hour away, and why? An hour away, how come? Why? Until we figured out how to sit on it, even in the middle of winter, we wound up sitting on their front yard. What's been the difficult, challenging part for you? Who's on your hill? Who enabled you? Who or what enables you to move forward? Who helps you maintain a sense of hope amidst all this chaos? Who pointed out to you the seeds of new creation coming through the chaos? So I invite you to do this, and I'll track the time. As I watch the clock, and I'll stay right on our schedule. I'll give you 25 minutes here. I'll call time, and just so you know, at the end of your discussion, we'll take a 15-minute break, okay? So there we are. But take the next 15, 20 minutes at your table and share your experience of the chaos and the people who brought you home, okay? And I'll track the time. Thank you.